Britain overtakes U.S. as top financial center. The United Kingdom has overtaken the United States to take the top spot in a ranking of the world's leading financial centers. I got news for you. We're not even number 2. Let's continue. The ranking, compiled by the World Economic Forum, places the UK at the top of a leaderboard of 55 of the world's largest financially focused countries. The US, which had previously held the top spot, slipped to third behind second-placed Australia. The poll will fuel the ongoing debate as whether London or New York is the best place to do business or financial communities. Well, what about Australia? I mean, maybe Sydney is in the mix now? I don't know. I've never been to Australia. I'm just reading off a piece of paper here. Amid recent reports that a growing number of hedge funds are moving to New York due to lighter regulation, the ranking came in spite of the distinct problems in the UK's financial services industry and has suffered in the last 12 months at the hands of the global financial crisis. Oh, boy. Look, it's not good news that the dollar's dying. It's not good news that we're now third on the list of top-ranked economic countries. It's not good news that 9.8% admittedly are unemployed. If you listened to my interview last week with Bob Chapman, he will tell you that it is much, much higher. Another sign of the times in the horrible economy here at home, Los Angeles considers free parking to stop film crews leaving. I mean, they're openly announcing that California may be the first failed state in this country. And when a city like Los Angeles or New York stops charging for parking and gouging people coming in or working there, which it does daily. If you've ever been to New York City and you're lower in Manhattan, you're looking at somewhere between $20 and $50 to park your car for the day. And now they're saying, all right, we're totally screwed here in L.A. We don't want film crews to leave. We're considering free parking. Under the plan, production crews would be allowed to use parking lots around the city at weekends and in the evenings. More power sources would be provided so filmmakers don't have to bring their own generators. The scheme being considered by the city council also includes offering tax credits to owners of buildings who allow them to be used as film locations. And another headline out of there is that more apartments are vacant than ever in this country. People can't rent a home. People are losing their homes. They can't afford to rent. They're hitting the streets. It's unfortunate, but it's true. We can't just, smile and act like everything's going to be okay. We live in America. Yay! America, America, America. Meanwhile, the majority of people out there, again, cannot tell me the 3 branches of government. I mean, I cannot emphasize this enough. When we're out at the G20 on Luke Rudowski of We Are Change is bullhorning a group of students, and the one punk-ass student is sitting there going, do you have a job? Do you have a job? Do you have... Yeah, he does have a job, and he goes to school full-time, and he still makes time enough to figure out what's going on in this country. Here's a little disco beat I like. This is the music right here. Anyway, we'll be back after this. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas hitting up a big stacker of the latest. Infowars.com, prisonplanet.tv. I wanted to hit up a little video. You may have heard of it. John Elway, quarterback extraordinaire, formerly of the most losing Super Bowl team in the world, the Broncos, until they took it home a couple of times. But there were many jokes out there, much like the Bills, for a time period, until John Elway pulled it together. And what did he do? Did he do back-to-back Super Bowls? He did, didn't he? He did it big eventually. Yeah, well, I still remember the 49 to 7 one where they gave it was against the Redskins. Yeah, no, the Redskins one where they gave the MVP to, I think his name was Doug Williams, the quarterback. Yeah, I'll never forget that. And now he's here to tell you terrorism is everywhere. When you watch this video and we're about to play it, everyone's a terrorist. Are you on a cell phone? Are you taking pictures? Report it now. And they're like, there's this woman walking over to a police officer and she's telling him what's up and he's immediately on the phone. And remember, New York just recently opened up their $24 million DHS spy center, Tones of London, if you will, in London. There's one camera for every 14 people. They are recorded more than the Chinese, okay? There are over 4.2 million CCTV cameras there. Okay, 4.2 million. They're going to double that within the next 10 years, more than double it. They say they want 8.6 million of them. And they've now started the Crime Fighting League. We're the Crime Fighting League, where people will be joining the Crime Fighting League to watch random CCTV camera feeds in their home to report suspicious activity and law-breaking criminals for cash prizes, £1,000, which is roughly $1,400 to $1,500 to turn in your neighbor. Oh, by the way, there are CCTV cameras in some people's homes now. The Sinden families, the worst of the worst, they've got CCTV cameras in their homes now. And this grid I was talking about, this new DHS facility, ties into this story right here. This is at NewYorkDailyNews.com. NYPD tracking cell phone owners, but foes aren't sure practice is legal. You think it might be illegal? Huh. The NYPD is amassing a database of cell phone users, instructing cops to log serial numbers from suspects' phones in hopes of connecting them to past or future crimes. In the era of disposable anonymous cell phones, the file could be treasure trove for detectives investigating drug rings and other criminal enterprises, police said. It's used to help build cases, one source said, of the new initiative. It's not really a new initiative. Again, Hepting versus AT&T brought to light that AT&T and all the other major telecommunication companies had a secret room where they were funneling all the information that you use on the internet and on your cell phone into a logged hard drive database. That's not Jason Bermas. That's the two lawsuits that came out and the reporting done on MSNBC and PBS. It doesn't replace the human element like debriefing prisoners, but it's also another tool to use, and we didn't have it in the past. A recent internal memo says when the cops make an arrest, they should remove the suspect's cell phone battery to avoid leakage, then jot down the International Mobile Equipment Identity Number. You see, when the cell phone battery is in, whether you have your phone on or off, they can listen to everything you're saying. You don't have to be making a call. It's like a walkie-talkie that's always on. But if you pull the battery out, they can't do that. Same with the GPS. The GPS, of course, works all the time, whether the phone is on or off, whether you are on it or not, unless you pull out the battery. It's just unbelievable. Listen, I want to jump to this video because, they always like to use celebritards as, and sports figures to promote their agenda. And I like John Elway. John Elway played baseball for the Oneonta Yankees back in the day when the Yankees were the old school minor league baseball team there. And, Oneonta, close to my heart, that's where I'm going to this weekend. He has quite a history there. I like John Elway, but John, and what does he invoke? September 11th changed everything forever, and he fearmongers big time in the intro of this video. So without further ado, let's hit at the 8 things to suspect with terrorism.
As I stand here inside the cells exhibit, anyone, anytime, anywhere, understanding the threat of terrorism, I'm reminded of the morning of September 11th, 2001. I remember turning on the television and saying, how can this possibly be happening in the United States of America? Well, it's something that we're going to have to deal with the rest of our lives. The horrific events of September 11th and the Oklahoma City bombing have made it clear that terrorism is not only a very real threat abroad, but also right here at home. Anyone can become a victim of terrorism, anytime, anywhere.
All right, let's stop it right there. Let's just stop it right there. Okay? Anytime, anyone, anywhere, you are the terrorist. What happened on September 11th, we're just going to have to live with the rest of our lives. The rest of our lives. The rest of our lives. Terrorism, terrorism, terrorism. Sound a little bizarre to you? The rest of our lives. How could this be happening in America? Anyone, anytime, anywhere. That's odd because the mainstream media blamed a bunch of Muslims. Wait, did you just bring up Oklahoma City? See, I read the headlines and the news stories about how they finally released the police tapes and the CCTV camera footage. Remember, the CCTV cameras are there to solve crimes. Meanwhile, in the UK, they solve 1 in 1,000 crimes. What are they there for? 1 in 1,000 crimes. They're there to track, trace, and database you and put you into the system. That's what they're really there for. Anyway, the CCTV camera footage from OKC finally comes out. 14 years later. And then magically, as if Mickey Mouse from Fantasia waved his magic wand, oh, digga-digga-digga-doo, it cuts out right before the bombing, and it comes in right after the bombing. All the footage that you'd want to see, you know, about John Doe number 2 and the secondary explosions, all that, not caught on tape on all the cameras. They all magically were getting their tapes changed or malfunctioned at that magical moment of Mickey Mouse and Fantasia. Woo!